Hope everyone is going super well. Facebook has changed their live camera a little bit so you can see a little bit more of me. Not sure how I am supposed to see any comments or anything else that's coming up, but anyway. Today on Sunday, don't normally do, so swipe left to see the people watching your live video. Cool, awesome. So there we go. So what I'm going to focus on today, a Sunday. Don't normally get many live streams done for you guys on a Sunday, and most of you are probably out riding and racing. But what I wanted to talk about today is coffee and the effects of coffee and caffeine on your performance on a daily basis, but also on your riding and racing as well, and how that's costing you valuable seconds of riding and racing. That obviously we need to be getting back so that you guys can be performing as best you possibly can. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is a little bit of analysing, doing a little bit of an audit on what you eat on a weekly basis, or what you're more likely what you're drinking. Okay, so we're looking at any types of coffee, any types of even teas, even looking at things like energy drinks as well. Okay, so what caffeine does is caffeine is a stimulant. Okay, so it helps to activate what's called our fight or flight response. Okay, so our fight or flight response is triggered from something that we've been evolved with since we were since we were in the caveman days. Okay, and what that does is helps to send a whole heap of glucose around the body, a whole heap of readily available, ready to go energy for us to be able to escape from the lion. Okay, or if we're in we're in danger, allowing us to be able to give us extra energy, be able to allow us to be able to exert ourselves very rapidly for a short period of time. Now, this is awesome because that's a safety mechanism to be able to keep us alive. You've probably seen like heaps of those shows, like where people are breaking into places, okay, and then the thieves are able to jump up walls or jump off roofs, and they keep running and they don't get hurt, or they don't appear to be hurt. It's because that adrenaline's going, because they've triggered that fight or flight response. Now, caffeine does exactly the same thing. So what we want to make, what happens then is the hormone cortisol is released, okay? And what that does is helps to send all that glucose around the body to be able to give us that energy. Now, what happens is when that energy is triggered, it gives us a short-term energy boost. So everything's boosted and we feel really, really awesome. Now, that's sweet, okay? But the bad thing is that when they get that energy peaks, it has to come down, and when it comes down below where you first started. So if you're feeling a little bit low on energy, then you use the caffeine to be able to boost it. So people are like, oh, I need my morning coffee. It boosts their energy for a short period of time, but then what happens is it actually drops down below where they first started before, okay? Which means that then we tend to get stuck in this loop. So what starts to happen is we go up, we get the energy boost, we come back down and end up below where we were to first start with. But then what happens is we go, okay, I'm in this down now. So then you tend to crave, you want more caffeine, more sugary products to help bring that energy back up. So then you have another coffee or you have another energy drink or whatever you're having to bring that back up. And then our body is just going up, down, up, down, up, down. And our adrenal glands end up becoming very fatigued. Now, cortisol, the hormone cortisol, is what helps us to be able to get up in the morning. So when you wake up in the morning, that thing that helps you to get up and be able to be active instead of just staying asleep is cortisol. What happens when we trigger that fight or flight response a whole heap of times, so i.e. you're having a coffee or an energy drink daily, what starts to happen is that level of that cortisol is not as potent, okay? Doesn't work as well as what it should. And I suppose it would be fair to say is not as aggressive. Okay, so in terms of when our body's releasing cortisol, it kind of gets a little bit confused. It's not sure, okay, because we're triggering that fight or flight response all the time. So when we wake up in the morning, so let's just say we've taken caffeine for the last few days, okay, or if you're having energy drinks or having coffees, whatever you're having, when we wake up in the morning, we're not going to be as alert and as functioning as quickly as what we should be. What's going to start to happen is we'll wake up in the morning, and hey, Lachlan, what's going to start to happen is we'll wake up in the morning. We're going to feel very sluggish. We're not going to feel like getting up. We're going to feel tired, like we just want to sleep more. And if you had the choice to be able to sleep more, you'd be able to sleep a shit ton longer. Because that cortisol hasn't been released appropriately to be able to get us alert and get us awake and get us to up and about. Okay, so that's the first thing. So number one, it's zapping energy from when you're first getting up in the morning. So that sets up your whole day for an absolute disaster. Because if you feel like shit in the morning, you're tired, it takes you ages to get going, you don't work as well, you don't feel as good because you're not as work, whatever, you just feel really tired and lethargic. That's the first thing. The next thing to be able to look at is the quality of sleep that you're actually getting. Okay, and this is a big one. The number of hours of sleep that you get is not as important as the quality of sleep you're getting. Okay, it's better to get, say, 8 hours of quality sleep than to get 10 or 12 hours of shitty sleep. So what happens with our sleep is we have a sleep pattern. Okay, so we have stages 1, 2, 3, 4. Stages 1 and 2 is we're in fairly light sleep. So what happens with our light sleep is that we are obviously not awake. Okay, but what that means is the muscles are relaxed. Okay, they're still a little bit tense. There's still a little bit of tension there, but they're not. They're a little bit more relaxed than what they normally are. Okay, and what this does is sets us up for stages 3 and 4. Now, stages 3 and 4 is our deep sleep, where we're more likely to have dreams. Okay, and what happens in stages 3 and 4 is where our muscles are completely relaxed, 100% relaxed. Okay, so you probably had that experience where you've had someone sleeping, you're trying to wake them up, and they just like wobble. Okay, they don't actually get up or respond or jump. They just move. Okay, and that's because they're in that stages 3 and 4. So what we want to make sure is that we get through at least 4 cycles of those 4 full cycles a night, which takes about 90 to 120 minutes to be able to go through. So an hour and a half onwards to be able to get through the 4 stages. Those stages 3 and 4 are the most important in terms of recovery and rejuvenation and being able to feel refreshed in the morning. What you'll find is that what happens is when you're taking caffeine, when you're taking coffee, when you're taking in energy drinks, what this means is that it keeps us in a shallower sleep. It tends to hold us in those stages 1 and 2. Doesn't allow us to be able to get into those stages 3 and 4 as much as what we need to. You're a lot easily awoken during the night, which means we have broken sleep. And every time we wake up during our sleep, we start from the start of the cycle again. You don't just continue on. And it's really important to be able to get those stages 3 and 4 because what that means is when we're in the stages 3 and 4, we can maximize our recovery time. Our muscles are able to recover, so we're able to reduce any levels of muscle soreness, and we're able to improve our level of energy for when we do get up in the morning to be able to perform better the next day, whether that's at work, whether that's at training, whether you have racing. So many of you guys will have racing today. So that's an important factor. So in terms of caffeine, it's not something you want to be relying on a daily basis, something you can use here and there. If you do have a day where you're finding that you're a little bit more lethargic than usual, then you can have a coffee, okay, and use caffeine for that. We want to try and stay away from energy drinks. And that's what we want to be able to implement. Otherwise, if you're finding that you're having a coffee every day or you're having energy drinks every day or becoming reliant on it, and that's zapping a heap more energy. Although they're designed to give you energy, they only give you energy for this much, and then they take away a whole shit ton of energy to be able to give you that energy that you've had. So that's an important thing to be able to note. Okay. Hey, Jason, good to have you on the call. So we want to be able to make sure, I'm trying to work out how this Facebook Live works. And how I see the comments. So hopefully Jason's still on. But what we want to be able to make sure is that we're limiting our caffeine intake, and that includes coffee. Okay, even as little as little as a coffee a day is something that will be affecting your performance. And we want to be able to make sure that we don't have anything that's affecting your performance. We want to make sure that we're maximizing your performance. So the only time that we could recommend caffeine is, say, having it at the last race of the day. If that's something you feel that you need, but not something that I would encourage. Usually if you're relying on caffeine, relying on stimulants to get you going, there's something else there that you're missing nutrition-wise that you haven't been able to fuel yourself correctly to be able to perform on race day. Okay, so there's some info for you guys on caffeine and the roles of that. That just reminded me this morning, I was out for breakfast and obviously seeing lots of people have coffees. So just wanted to be able to make sure that you guys had a little bit of insight on that and how it's affecting your racing. So hope you guys have a great day. Hope everyone is training and racing hard today. Beautiful weather over here in Perth. And I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. So remember, train hard, race harder. See you guys.